Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Ox Talks. Happy 4th of July. It is July 4th, 2024. I want to just jump on today and say hello to everybody, share a few thoughts about the history of the 4th of July, what it means, reflect on it, ask all of you some rhetorical questions relative to patriotism, and share an article that I saw in the Hedge today relative to Americans' patriotism on the 4th of July and what it means to them. And I would love to get your comments below on this topic since it's appropriate for today. Before I get a bunch of hate about the shirt I'm wearing today, the New England Patriots T-shirt. I'm really not a football guy per se. I think about 2 years ago, I picked up this shirt at a thrift store for some special team thing we were doing at a workout class. Probably worn it. That was the only time I probably ever wore it. And I was looking for something that had some red and some blue in it. So this was sitting in the closet a bit tight on me. So it is what it is. Let's continue. So what is the Patriots named after? The New England Patriots. I pulled this from the net. It says the original American Patriots, as you may have guessed, the franchise was originally founded in Boston back in 1959. And since Boston is considered, it says, the birthplace of the country, home to the American colonists' rebellion of British rule in the 1770s, quote, Patriots, end quote, was the most popular choice for the city's team. So again, that was just something I pulled off just now. I haven't fact checked any of that, but it makes a lot of sense to me. Let me jump into some of what I want to share about just the history of this holiday, how it came about. I'm not a historian. I'm not trying to lecture any of you guys. I just thought it might be a nice time to reflect and share this information. This is from the Library of Congress. It says Independence Day. On July 4th, 1776, the Second Continental Congress unanimously adopted the Declaration of Independence announcing the colony's separation from Great Britain. The Constitution provides the legal and governmental framework for the United States. However, the Declaration, with its eloquent assertion, all men are created equal, is equally beloved by the American people. And it says by the 1870s, the 4th of July was the most important secular holiday on the calendar. Congress passed a law making Independence Day a federal holiday on June 28th of 1870. Even far-flung communities, it says, on the western frontier managed to congregate on Independence Day. Philadelphians marked the first anniversary of American independence with a spontaneous celebration, it says, which is described in a letter by John Adams to his daughter Abigail. However, observing Independence Day only became commonplace, it says, after the War of 1812. Soon events such as groundbreaking ceremonies for the Erie Canal and the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad were scheduled to coincide with July 4th festivities. I pulled some more background or some history from the National Constitution Center's website. And it says the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights are based on the idea that all people have certain fundamental rights that governments are created to protect. Those rights include common law rights, which come from British sources like the Magna Carta, or natural rights, which the founders believed came from God. The founders believed that natural rights are inherent in all people by virtue of their being human, and that certain of these rights are unalienable rights, meaning they cannot be surrendered to government under any circumstances. Comment below. Unalienable rights. They cannot be surrendered to government under any circumstances. At a time when not just now, but going back decades, where the government continues to encroach and encroach upon each and every one of us. What do you think about that? It's important to remember the meaning, understanding, and why we celebrate Independence Day. At the same time, the Declaration, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights are different kinds of documents with different purposes. The Declaration of Independence was designed to justify breaking away from a government. The Constitution and Bill of Rights were designed to establish a government. The Declaration stands on its own. It has never been amended, it says, while the Constitution has been amended 27 times. I didn't know that. The first 10 amendments are called the Bill of Rights. Maybe I did, but it wasn't fresh in my mind. The first 10 amendments are called the Bill of Rights. The Declaration and Bill of Rights set limitations on government. The Constitution was designed both to create an energetic government and also to constrain it. The Declaration and Bill of Rights reflect a fear of an overly centralized government imposing its will on the people of the states. Sound familiar? The Constitution was designed to empower the central government to preserve the blessings of liberty for, quote, we the people of the United States, end quote. In this sense, the Declaration and Bill of Rights, on the one hand, and the Constitution, it says, on the other, are mirror images of each other, of one another. Each other. That's it for today's history lesson. I wanted to see that information for myself. I wanted to read it. I wanted to absorb it, think about it, and hope that you will contemplate what those words mean in a time when we are every day losing more and more and more of our individual liberties. We're losing more and more and more of our individual freedoms, whether it's the war on cash, whether it is the regulations, whether it's the continued attempt to challenge the Second Amendment, and even freedom of speech. We know what happens every day. There are bodies of people looking over content to make sure that nothing gets put out that is in violation of their prescribed rules and regulations. So, again, this is the kind of things that we need to think about on Independence Day, all right, from my perspective. Let me share with you an article that I saw on Zero Hedge that ties back into the title about what patriotism means to you guys on this day. Americans share what patriotism means to them. This is posted today, Zero Hedge, 11 a.m. Independence Day, it says, is the nation's most patriotic holiday, and Americans celebrate it with abandon. I guess what that means is drinking a lot of liquor and sitting in the sun and eating a lot of rich, fattening foods. But nonetheless, it is celebrated with abandon. On this day of patriotism, baseball games, hot dogs, and sparklers, even the stodgiest old uncle may arrive at the family cookout wearing a red, white, and blue top hat and suspenders, it says. By the day's end, some 260 million pounds of commercial fireworks will be lit, filling city skies with splendor and leaving the air in suburban neighborhoods thick with the smell of smoke and sulfur. Americans love to display their patriotism, yet there is little agreement on what that means. The majority, some 55%, listen to this, 55% of Americans think the United States has become a less patriotic nation in the recent years. According to a Marist poll released on July 1st, only 14% of Americans think Americans have become more patriotic. That could be because Americans display patriotism in a variety of ways and may not recognize it in other ways, says this guy Ken Coleman, director of the Center for Political Studies at the University of Michigan. Okay, whatever. It says who counts as a patriot and what counts as patriotism are in the eyes of the beholder. I would agree with that. Just ahead of the 248th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, the Epoch Times asked Americans to define what patriotism means to them. Does patriotism mean to you? What does it mean to you, and how do you display patriotism? Comment below. Most answers were rooted in a deep appreciation for sacrifices that were made to create and defend the country, and a desire to continue to do the same. The desire manifests itself in different ways. Pride in America and its symbols was the most common way, it says, people said they expressed patriotism. We heard frequent references to standing for the national anthem, reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, and wearing star-spangled clothing. Voting was mentioned often. Let's break that down. Standing for the national anthem. We've seen that challenge in this country by many illustrious, highly paid athletes. Reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. We've seen that challenge, I believe, in our school system. And wearing star-spangled clothing. Lastly, voting was mentioned often. Well, guess what, guys? You're all going to have a chance here coming up in November, even before that, to be voting. And I sure strongly suggest that you avail yourself of this opportunity and this special right, all right, to participate and not believe for a second that your vote doesn't count, because I believe it absolutely does. And every one of us need to be exercising that right and that privilege, okay? So I wanted to share that article with you. That's it. I'll leave it 12, 13 minutes today with my red Patriots t-shirt. I want to say thank you all for the support for the channel. The channel is growing. I appreciate it. It's exciting to me. I do watch it. I'm going to continue coming out here and spending time trying to put material up that is interesting, engaging, thought-provoking, not just reading the news. Although I think that's very important, because many people are getting their news from CNN or from some of these mainstream channels that are obviously, let's say, tainting and intentionally, I believe, skewing the reality so that we can continue to keep people dumbed down, right? And the sheeple in line be behind the sheep in front of them. So I hope all of you, and if you're watching this channel, as many other channels like this, you're awake, you know what's going on, you're paying attention. I did do my workout today. I had a 90-minute full body workout for the 4th of July. Got that done earlier. So don't use these holidays as a time to get lazy, sit on the couch and eat a bag of potato chips. Obviously you can have some fun. We're all going to do that, but keep in mind the fitness routine is important. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you're not subscribed, I would really appreciate your subscription. It means a lot to me. I want to keep growing the channel. I want to keep waking up these algos. Let's get our subscribership up. Let's get our views up. Let's continue as a community to enrich each other, educate each other, and help each other out. I didn't want to come on and talk about a collapse today, although we all know what's going on. The next few months is going to be intense. There's a lot of political stuff going on behind the scenes. You all know what I'm talking about after the debate last week. Following that very, very closely. The Fed was out Friday indicating that they're in no rush to be lowering interest rates given until they start seeing inflation coming down back into that 2% target range. So those people that are waiting to refinance those adjustable rate mortgages that we discussed on a show a couple of days ago, I sure hope that it happens sooner than later for all of you. With that being said, again, thank each and every one of you. I'll try to do a show tomorrow. It's kind of obviously a weird week with a holiday here on Thursday. Do my best to get a show up tomorrow, and if not, for sure over the weekend. All right, have a great rest of your 4th of July. Enjoy spending time with family and friends. God bless all of you, and God bless America. See you soon. Bye.